Hello, YouTube. It's DasGregor. Now, first off, the rumors of my demise have been greatly exaggerated. Secondly, no videos for a very long time. The reason is work. I've got so much going on, and I have so much responsibility with my job that I have a terrible time even thinking about YouTube right now. So, the excuses out of the way, let me begin with today's topic that I'd like to discuss. Recently in the Gentoo world, there has been a change in the profile from the older profile to new version 17 of the profile. This has required everybody to change their profile, to update their system, and recompile the entire Portage world. And let me tell you, it took me at least 24 to 30 hours or so to recompile this entire system. And thankfully, no flaws, no hiccups, nothing out of the ordinary went wrong. Otherwise, it could have gone forever longer. And it made me think, guys, why am I doing this to myself? This is nuts. This is crazy. What does Gentoo really offer me that all these other bin-based packages don't already do? I mean, I could take Ubuntu and I could throw it on here and I could have it running in 15 minutes. And if I wiped it and redid it and put it all back on there, I could have it back up and running again in 15 minutes. So why, you ask, DasGregor? If you could do that, why are you doing a total system rebuild, which in your case takes nearly 30 hours just to recompile everything, just so you can change your profile from version 13, I think it was, to 17? I'll tell you why. Because Gentoo's just that awesome. That's all there is to it. It's the best source-based distribution out there. Hands down, nothing can compete with Gentoo. It is just the best. Now you say, no, Das, how can you say Gentoo is the best when you really don't run any of those other source-based distributions? Well, let me tell you something. I've looked at Lunar. I've looked at Crux. Now, a few years ago, I did a review on Crux, and I was pretty impressed on it running. But it still doesn't compare to Gentoo. Gentoo is the king when it comes to source-based distributions. I even tried to run Crux again recently just to see what's changed in the newest version, and I got stuck trying to install the GUI because packages were failing to compile, and I'm sorry, I don't have those kind of problems in Gentoo. Now, I've also recently looked at LFS again. You say, Das, why would you look at LFS? Well, I'll tell you why. It's probably, next to Gentoo, the most stable and easiest thing to install. Easy? Yes, actually. Compared to what I have been looking at with Lunar and Crux, if you can read a manual, you can follow instructions, you can install LFS. I just did it in the last 4 days. Oh my goodness, 4 days? Let me tell you, 4 days? Yes, 4 days to get a basic operating system, X11, XFCE, browser, all the tools, webcam working, sound working, wireless working, you name it, it all works in LFS. It just took a tremendous amount of time to build it. Now you say, well, Das, will you stick around with LFS? Probably not. You know, LFS is an excellent tool to learn the nuts and bolts of Linux. I still learn new things every time I build it just to keep myself sharp. Yeah, I know. Torture to keep yourself sharp. Well, It's still a great tool to learn a lot of things. The instructions are still spot on. It took me a little bit to get rolling with it. Had to relearn a few things because I gotten lazy over the years. But it was still an enjoyable experience. And people on my channel are like, why are you doing this to yourself, Das? Well, I still learn things. I still grow from the experience, and I still feel LFS is an excellent tool, despite the fact that when you're installing one thing, you find out it has a dependency for another thing, which then has 3 dependencies for that, which then says it recommends this, and you might want to do that. And the next thing you know, your head's about to explode because of all the different packages that you got to think about and put together. And believe me, there were a few times when I was building LFS that I was like, I don't even know if this thing's going to boot when I'm done with it, because I'm getting nervous about how things are laying down. I'm getting nervous about doing some things that I've not done before. And it was so gratifying to know that once I got it all done and I booted, that it actually worked, it actually ran. I had to fiddle around a lot with my kernel build. I've gotten a little rusty. And going back to the kernel, let me kind of organize this a little bit better. I got one of those fans to keep my system a little cooler, and it doesn't like to stay on there at this angle. Anyway, going back to the kernel. One thing I noticed when I finished building everything in Gentoo with the new profile was the virtual box drivers were failing at boot. And it's like, oh, no big deal. All I need to do is rebuild them against the kernel. No problem. So I rebuild them again. They fail. Rebuild them. They fail. I look at the error a little closer. I've tried this a couple different ways. And it says, oh, you need to rebuild your kernel against the new GC. So I go to rebuild my kernel against the new GC because it added some things to it, which is why you had to rebuild your whole system to begin with. My kernel is not compatible with the new GCC. Now, DOS, don't you keep the latest and greatest kernels? No, I don't. When I have a working, stable kernel, there's no reason to change it and just keep upgrading. Yeah, there's the security patches and all that, but that's different. I was still running kernel 4.4, I believe. And I do believe that the latest version that I have installed is 4.12.12 now. And there's probably a few extras that have come out since then. But the short end of this story is that it required me to rebuild a whole new kernel that was compatible because my old one was obsolete. It no longer was going to allow me to use it. Well, I could use it as long as I never changed a thing. But that wasn't the right answer. So I had to get a new kernel, rebuild everything, cross my fingers and hope I didn't break stuff. But I was quite pleasantly surprised. It all went well. I was able to get all of my drivers running proper, everything functioning correctly. And we're up and running, a new kernel, new profile. My VirtualBox drivers are running proper for testing. Everything's good to go. So when people ask you, why do you run Gentoo? You can tell them, because it's the best source-based distribution out there. DasGregor says so. Well, I'd just like to say, I don't know how many videos I'll be able to continue to do. To be honest, I'm not even sure the content to talk about anymore. But I will try to get more stuff out there. As the new year comes upon us in about another couple days, I guess it is. Hopefully I'll just do a little bit better job. We'll see how work goes. We'll see how things are. If you guys think of stuff you'd like me to do, nothing crazy. Don't ask me to reinstall my system and use blah, blah, blah and do this and do that. This is my main system. It's a stable system. I don't mess with it too much. I am done screwing around with my production system. And I really don't have anything good to test things on right now. That's the biggest problem I've had right now. All my systems have kind of died out, gone the way of the dodo. I don't have too much to kind of throw stuff on and play with, and I'm not about to break this one by testing different neat features. So, I am a little froggy. Flu bug has been hitting everywhere, but I'm over it now, and I was on vacation this last week, and I was like, I want to do videos, and then almost immediately, boom, stuck in bed with the flu for like 2 or 3 days. You know, all weekend right before Christmas, terrible. But it's getting better now, so maybe I'll try to throw out 1 or 2 more videos before I have to go back to work. We'll see what I can do. Thanks to all you subscribers and those that have reached out to me and asked to see how I'm doing and saying, Das, we miss you. I miss you guys too as a community. I miss having you guys about in that virtual ether. So if it's morning, evening, noon, or night, whatever you're having, enjoy it. Have a good whatever. And a great new year. Bye, guys.